Yeah. Welcome you all to this webinar session on E-invoicing and Audit Trail. So today we are going to discuss about this recent changes by government from 1st April 2022. There are some changes on this E-invoicing and Audit Trail. Before that, let me introduce myself. This is Karthikeyan M, a chartered accountant who head this Account CC product as a product success manager. So people would have known me for some I would have sent some marketing emailers and all. So this is about a quick introduction about myself. So before that, let me introduce my. Okay. Okay. Is my voice audible now? It's clear. Yeah. Is my voice and screen is visible now? Right now? I hope there's any technical issues. Can someone confirm in the quick Q&A chat, please? Okay. Let me first start off with a poll right now regarding this e-invoicing and audit trail, whether you are aware about this e-invoicing and audit trail before. So can you quickly update your vote on this e-invoicing, whether you have already heard of or you are well aware of the concepts or not heard of? I request everyone to participate in this poll so that it will be easy for me to understand the audience nature, so that it will be easy for me to explain the concepts in detail according to the nature of the audience. Okay. Thanks for the participation, dear team, dear members. Okay. Let's begin the session regarding this e-invoicing. Before starting into what is e-invoicing, let's just have a quick story on between 2017 and when GST was started and to 2022, which is currently now, as of now, this e-invoicing applicability. We begin with a story of how a person called Manuel Mahadevan, he started his journey by preparing bills manually, writing all the GST number, GST amount, everything manually in his physical bills, to Mr. Digital Devendran in 2022, who uses this e-invoice schema system wherein all his data is automatically generated and validated by the GST department. So we'll understand the journey of how this Manuel Mahadevan is now transformed into Digital Devendran. Okay, so this is the journey we are going to cover in this session. Okay. Before starting off with the detailed explanation, there are certain terminologies which you must understand before starting off with the session. So those are like GSP, ASP, IRP, IRN, like that. So anybody who are aware of these concepts already, you can put it in the Q&A chat. What is meant by GSP? The expansion. What is the GSP, ASP, IRP, IRN? QR code, B2B, B2C, and all. I'll be explaining it, but before that, if anyone could update what is the answers now, it will be easy. Anyone can update what is GSP, what is ASP, what is IRP, and all. You can post it in the Q&A chat. Anyone? What is GSP? What is ASP? What is IRP? What is IRN? What is QR code? Anybody? Can you put it in the Q&A chat? Have you heard of these terms, GSP, ASP and all? Yeah, thank you from Anand Agencies. Yes, IRNS invoice reference number, correct? What about others? GSP, ASP, IRP and all? Any other answers? Yeah, B2B is business to business, right? Correct. Thank you, Mr. From Madaseri Venture Private Limited customer. Others? Yeah, B2C is actually business to consumer. Yeah, business to consumer actually, not B2C customer. It is B to consumer. Any others about GSP, ASP and all? Any idea? Okay. Let me give the explanations myself. So first, what is this GSP? GSP is actually a GST Suvidha provider. Okay. These are the approved institutions which is given by the GST portal itself, who provides this e-invoice integration. We will have to go through this GSPs only for e-invoice route. So one such GSP is Zoho. Okay, there are about 50 plus GSPs in India. Okay, and ASP is like other software providers who actually communicate between the user and the GSP. Say, for example, GoFrugal, who have been enabled with the Zoho GSP to facilitate this e-invoice integration. Okay, that is called an ASP, Application Service Suvidha Provider. Next is a IRP. IRP means Invoice Registration Portal. Okay, for this e-invoice generation itself, government has created a separate portal called as IRP. It is now for your GSTR1 filing and all, you might be using the gst.gov.in. No, similar to that, they have created one more portal called e-invoice.gst.gov.in. So in that, only this e-invoice will be generated through that e-invoice portal only. So they have created a dedicated portal for e-invoice generation. Next is the invoice reference number. Now this invoice reference number is a unique number generated by this IRP, Invoice Registration Portal, for every document that you upload to the IRP portal. So in this e-invoice, I will be explaining the detailed concept. So when you upload the invoice data, the IRP portal will give a response by generating a unique 64-digit number. It will be an alphanumeric number through which to identify that it's a separate, it's an acknowledgement number, like, so which is called the invoice reference number. Also, it will give a QR code also. So QR code, which you normally see in your products and all. So your traditional barcode will be like just lines, whereas this QR code will be like box, where it's a 2D, two-dimensional barcode, wherein this all the invoice information like GST number, item value, what is the number of items. I'll be showing the giving the experience also following slides. So there all this information is done. So once you scan, this information will be available. So this invoice reference number, QR code, both will be generated by the IRP portal. Okay. Next is the B2B. So B2B, as you all know, it's a business to business between one registered persons to another registered persons. Whatever transaction is happening, that is a B2B transaction. So whereas B2C means it is registered person to the unregistered person or the end consumer who is not a registered person. So those are called a B2C transactions. And then B2G means it's a business to government, where we as a business, you file all the information, you do the API integration, all these communication between the business and to the government. Those kind of reporting is called the B2G. Okay. So these are some of the terminologies which you must remember, because in the subsequent slides, I will be explaining about these terminology. I'll be covering all these terminologies. So better you be clear all these terms, no? So it will be easy for your understanding. Any doubts in this on these expansions and explanation? GSP, ASP, IRP, IRN, QR code, B2B, B2C, and B2G. Any doubts till this, members? If you are clear now, you can put it in the Q&A chat as clear. Thank you, Ms. Yeah, from Mowgli Retail Private Limited. Thank you also. See, B2B is not on the person. Okay, B2B is like a transaction. If the hotel is providing services to some other corporate means, then it will become a B2B transaction. Whereas if the hotel is providing transaction to a end consumer like you and me means, then it will become a B2C transaction. Okay, B2B, B2C are all based on transactions and not on the persons. It depends upon from who is the service provider or seller and who is the service receiver or the buyer. So according to that, this B2B, B2C is classified. I hope that is clear from AKS Woods. Okay. Moving on, let's understand what is e-invoice. Okay. So e-invoicing means it's a simple formula like it's nothing but your existing invoice only. Additionally, we are going to add two more fields, IRN and QR code, which will be generated by the IRP portal that we need to make in the print in the invoice. Okay, when you have that IRN and QR code in the invoice, then it becomes the e-invoice. Okay. So how this IRN and QR code is generated? Basically, when we upload the data to the IRP portal validates all these points, whether everything data is correct, all the calculations, everything is correct. Everything it will check, and then it will generate this IRN and QR code. And when you include this IRN and QR code in your invoice, then automatically your invoice becomes a e-invoice. Okay. So this is a simple formula to understand this e-invoice. Let's understand what happens with this e-invoice flow. So basically, you are a seller. You make a sales invoice entry in the ERP software, whichever software you use. You make a sales invoice entry. Then the ERP system will be pushing to the IRP portal. All the your sales invoice data, it will be pushing to the IRP portal using the B2G APIs. So government has provided APIs for this e-invoice integration. Through that APIs, the data is pushed, and in response, the IRP portal will give back the IRN and QR code, okay, which is received by the ERP portal. And then the ERP software, no, it has to print this e-invoice, which traditionally you will have the invoice format itself. In that, they have to include the IRN and QR code, which will be sent to the buyer. Okay. If you have included the email ID means it will be automatically mailed to the buyer, and the buyer is an option to approve or reject. Suppose any details are incorrect means, or any GST number, it is incorrectly given to some wrong GST number means, he has the option to reject the invoice. Now, what is this IRP will do is, it will push the data to the GST portal, by which this GSTR1. So now what you will be doing if you are using your any software means, the GSTR1 you will be either generating from the software or manually opening the GST portal and entering the sales invoice details. Now what happens because of this e-invoice means, all the data is automatically populated to the GSTR1, so that in GSTR1 you need not do again any data entry or any JSON upload. You need not do anything. Automatically this GSTR1 will come for the seller perspective, and for buyer perspective, the GSTR2B, okay, that will be the input tax credit is automatically available for the buyer. So this is the overall flow of the e-invoice. So but all these things happens in the software. So from the user perspective, you will be doing only the sales invoice entry, nothing other than that you will be doing. Automatically the softwares actually take care of all these process, and then you will get the e-invoice. Okay. Clear on up to this? If you have any doubts, please drop it in the okay. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Sorry, I didn't notice on that voice. If it's clear right now. Tara Gold covering, Mr. Drish. I hope the voice is clear right now. Okay, thank you. So any doubts up to this? Now let's understand certain myths and facts on this e-invoicing. Okay. Um, so first thing we'll have to understand is whether the e-invoice is generated by the GST portal itself. So that is the question. No, actually the ERP software has to generate that e-invoice. Okay. Only thing is that it is to include the IRN and QR code generated by the GST portal. In fact, in case of e-way bill and all, you will have to generate the e-way bill itself from the GST portal itself. Whereas in e-invoice, it is not like that. Only the IRN and QR code will be generated. It should be included in the in your printout. Okay. Second thing is on the viability, whether any billing software can generate the invoice means actually no. The softwares have to get tie up through this GSPs. Only through the GSP only we can be able to generate the e-invoice. Let's say, for example, GoFrugal is tied up with Zoho as the GSP. So like this, approved institutions only, software only can generate the e-invoice. Whether IRN means is the same as the invoice number, actually no. IRN is a unique number which is generated by the IRP portal. Okay, it is not the same as invoice number. It's a 64-digit alphanumeric number which will be automatically generated by the IRP portal. Okay, so it is not the same as invoice number. So by this way, it is for every IRN number, every invoice number, there will be a unique IRN number. So if you actually redo the same invoice number, if you re-enter the same invoice number, means system will not allow you to generate a duplicate invoice number. Okay. Third thing is whether e-invoice is applicable for all customer transactions. No, it is applicable only for B2B transactions, that is business to business, SEZ, special economic zone transactions, and the export transactions. E-invoice is not applicable for B2C transactions. Only B2B, SEZ, and export transactions only it is applicable. Next, by the term it is called e-invoice. It is not applicable only for the invoices. It will apply for all documents, invoices, debit notes, credit notes. For all, it will be applicable. But in relation to this transactions, that is B2B debit notes, B2B credit notes, like that. So applicable transactions, what are all the documents you are issuing? For all the documents, this e-invoice has to be issued. Next point is whether the government has specified any format. Only you have to use that format. Not like that. Government has given only the minimum fields. Like it. So these are all the fields which is mandatorily required. Okay. So you need to include that fields, including this IRN and QR code. But the format you can decide your own. So you can place your logo. You can place wherever. QR code you can place at the top, bottom, left, right. So wherever you can place. So like that, it is no any strict format is there. Government only giving the minimum fields which must be there in the invoice. After that, you can include whatever fields you want. Next, bill modification. Whether e-invoice, after e-invoice, whether you can modify the bill. No, it is not possible. Either you can cancel the IRN, or that is also possible only within 24 hours of IRN generation. After 24 hours means either we'll have to go through the credit note and debit note route only. Okay, that for that credit note, debit note only, also a separate, as I explained before, a separate IRN number to be generated for this credit note or debit note also. Okay. So at that, then one more question, like whether you can reuse the original invoice number after the cancellation. Whether the original same invoice number can be reused means no, that will also be not allowed, because the government validates the invoice number. Once as IRN is successfully generated means after that we cannot reuse that invoice number. You will have to generate a fresh invoice number only. Okay. So these are some things which you must be aware of, the frequently asked questions on this e-invoicing. Any doubts in this? On this concept, whether how this e-invoice generation has to happen? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other doubts means you can put it in the Q&A chat. Next, what is the new thing? So this is the e-invoicing is not new. Actually, it is applicable from October 2020 itself. But this April 2022, that is 1st April 2022 onwards, some changes are happening. So this change is actually creating more requirement right now. So what is the change? Okay. there is a specific turnover limit which is specified from time to time. That turnover limit has been reduced with effect from 1st April 2022 for this e-invoicing applicability. So that turnover limit now is standing at 20 crores. Actually, originally it started with 500 crores. Then they brought to 100 crores. Then they brought to 50 crores. Currently, now they have reduced from 50 crores to 20 crores with effect from 1st April 2022. Okay. Now, how to calculate this 20 crores? Okay. You will have to calculate all types of sales, the aggregate turnover. So your B2B, B2C, export, SEZ, all the sales put together, you will have to identify what is the total turnover. Okay. Only for the e-invoice generation, you need not do for B2C, but for application purposes, applicability purposes, you will have to calculate the total turnover, including B2B, B2C, everything together, you will have to see. Second thing is, it is PAN based. It is not like one particular outlet specifically, one particular GST number specifically. Your PAN based, all our turnovers totally you will have to put together and see what is the total turnover. Okay. Next, which year you will have to see. Third point is, what is the government saying is from financial year 17-18, that is the GST introduced year, from that year, in any of the financial year, if your turnover is crossing 20 crores means, then from 1st April 2022, e-invoice will be applicable. Say from 17-18, 18-19 and all, it is not crossed. But 19-20, you have crossed 20 crores. But again, due to COVID, 2021, 2021, 22, like that, if it is reduced also, in any of the 5 years, that is 17-18 to 21-22, in the any of the 5 financial years, any 1 year the turnover is above 20 crores means, then 1st April 2022 e-invoice will be applicable. Okay. If all the 5 years it is reduced to 20 crores means, below 20 crores means, then it will not be applicable. Any 1 year, need not be all 5 years. Any 1 year if it is crossed also, then 1st April it must be applied. Okay. And this is the current limit also, that people don't think that because it is 20 crores, it is not applicable for you. Very soon government will reduce this also, because they have been rapidly reducing this from 500 crores to 100 crores, 50 crores, 20 crores, like that. Probably in another 3 months or 6 months, whatever the time limit the government decide, they will soon reducing this to further 10 crores, 5 crores, like that also. So better you be aware and be prepared with a good system, so that e-invoice, you will be able to comply with the e-invoicing schema. Okay. So any doubts in this part right now on the applicability part? 20 crores per year, it is not from 17-18 to till now, not aggregate. Actually, in 5 years, any 1 year, okay, it is not 5 years total 20 crores. Each year you will have to see 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, 21-22. In this 5 financial years, in any 1 year, if it is crossed 20 crores means, then e-invoicing will be applicable from 1st April 2022. I hope your question is answered. Yeah, thank you. Any other doubts on this applicability? Any other doubts anyone has? If you have not, you can put it in the Q&A chat. Okay. Next, now, what is the impact of this e-invoicing? Okay. So first thing is this faster input tax credit benefit. So we'll see from 2 aspects, one from the seller perspective and from the buyer perspective. First point is the input tax credit. Okay. So from a buyer perspective, he need not worry on this to a GSTR to be the input tax credit and all, because once the e-invoice is automatically done, the data will be automatically coming to the GSTR 2B. So he is guaranteed of this input tax credit. So he need not be paying more taxes by doing, say for example, if his ITC is correctly reflected in 2B means, in that month itself, he can reduce these his sales minus purchase net liability he can pay. If the ITC is not reflecting means, then he has to wait for the next month, only then the GST will reflect. So these kind of benefits will be there for the buyer. In case of seller, if he doesn't follow this e-invoice, then automatically the customers will shift to suppliers who are following this e-invoice correctly. So if you don't follow the e-invoice, you will lose your customers and thereby your revenue also. Next, validation. So both from seller and buyer perspective, the buyers and the sellers will be validated. So GST number, whether they are active, whether they are filing, everything system will validate at the time of e-invoice generation itself. Because of which seller is guaranteed of his collection. Okay, because he is a prompt correct buyer means then he will get his sales bill collection. From buyer also, since this invoices is validated means you will not be having any fake invoice. Suppose some person will give, like they will give some fake GST numbers and all. So all this is not possible because of this invoice, because the GST number, everything is validated by the government. Okay, so you will be guaranteed of your input tax credit, and your GST will not become a cost, because originally if you consider GST credit and if you are not able to claim the GST credit means then that GST will add on to your cost of your production or the cost of purchase. So if you are not able to clearly claim the GST credit means then GST will not be part of your cost. You can claim it from your sales liability. Okay, so that is the benefit of the validation. Third benefit is the auto population. That is, you need not do multiple reportings. Once you have uploaded the data in the e-invoice, then it will be automatically generated to GSTR1 and the e-way bill portal. So you will just have to report only once. And from the buyer perspective also, the ITC is guaranteed in the GSTR2B. Okay, so you will not have any reconciliation, month-end reconciliation issues. So this is the third benefit. Fourth benefit, manual errors. Okay, so all this, if you do it in manual billing means you might do some wrong calculation, wrong tax percentage, everything will be rectified at the original bill of entry itself. So all these errors and all is saved. But from the buyer perspective, see, suppose if there is some error in the sales invoice means, then again the buyer has to check with the seller, you have made some mistakes, the total is right or total is wrong, some GST calculation is wrong means again he has to call to the seller and he has to give a fresh invoice. All these corrections, rectifications every time will be minimized or in fact nullified, so that at the original bill itself it will be pakka, no errors will be there, 100% will be pakka one. Okay, so that is the benefit of that. Fourth benefit, manual errors. Fifth point, uniformity. Okay, now that all the government specifies the minimum mandatory information, the invoice data will be unified. Okay, it will have a standard information, even though the position might be different here and there, but government stipulates that minimum fields. So it becomes a standard invoice format from a seller. To the buyer, actually what is the benefit is, you can get the signed JSON file of that invoice. So people, we can integrate your purchase entry. Okay, so from seller, when he is giving the e-invoice, when he gives the signed e-invoice also in a JSON format means that JSON file is readable by the softwares. So we can automate your purchase entry. You need not punch in your purchase entry in your ERP software. The JSON file can be automatically integrated so that your efforts in the purchase entry is saved. So final benefit is the digitalization. So you need not maintain any physical copies. The digital invoice is automatically mailed to the buyer email. And for audit purpose also, you need not maintain any physical copies. It is enough that it is maintained in the soft copy itself. And even from the e-invoice portal and your ERP software, anytime you can generate these things. So for all these benefits, okay, what is the requirement is you need a one-stop solution. Okay, for all your billing, e-invoice, accounting, GST filing. So if you depend on too many softwares, for billing you are using some POS software, for e-invoicing if you use another software, for accounting if you use another software means, then what is the challenge you will have is you will have to do multiple data entry. You will have to do it in billing software, again for accounting separate, for e-invoice separate. So you, instead of all these things, if you use one-stop solution, okay, then it will be completely integrated. Only one time you will have to do your sales entry thing. Automatically the e-invoice generation, your accounting entry, GST filing, everything will be automated. So that is the need of the hour. Any doubts up to this? Case of validation in buyer, we cannot take input. Yeah, so once if this available in the input tax credit only, GSTR2B, then only you can take the credit. Okay, the buyer can take credit only if it is reflecting in the GSTR2B. Okay, so a quick introduction on this GoFrugal. So we were discussing about one-stop solution. GoFrugal is one such one-stop solution where we cover for retail, restaurant, and distribution industry. We have vertical specific solutions. For example, for retail industry, we have a retail easy solution. For restaurant, we have our solution, we call it as a service. And for distribution, your the distributors, your suppliers, and all. For distributors, we have a manage easy solution. And then we have a accounts easy, which is common for all these products. Okay, retail easy, service easy, manage easy. The backend financial accounting software is the accounts easy, which which is tightly integrated with all these applications. Okay, so whenever you make a bill entry in a sales bill or a purchase entry, the data automatically generated to the accounts easy. So you need not do the accounting again one more time in your accounting software. Then we have our GoFrugal Prime. So it's basically a complete ERP solution, which will have your like other mobility solutions and all the solutions required for a total business requirements for a high-end enterprise level. So that we call it as a GoFrugal Prime. Okay. So because of GoFrugal, how this e-invoicing is benefited is, suppose you don't have a solution like a GoFrugal ERP means, then what you might be doing, government actually gives some e-invoice offline tool, okay, for this e-invoice purpose. So what you will be doing for your POS purposes, your billing purposes, you might be doing a sales bill entry. Then to check all the compliances, whether all the invoice data is correctly entered, you might do the second step verification. Then in your accounting software, then you will have to again redo the billing entry. Fourth step, government is providing this offline e-invoice generation utility. So you will have to again enter the data there. You will have to generate the JSON file from the offline utility. Then you will have to go to the e-invoice portal and then upload that JSON file. Then from the ERP portal, you will have to generate that signed invoice with IR and QR code. And if e-way bill is also applicable, you will have to generate e-way bill also. So this becomes a 8 long steps if you have been doing a manual e-invoicing process without using a solution like GoFrugal. Whereas if it is going to be GoFrugal means, then it is just a simple one-step process where you do only the sales bill entry. Nothing else you will have to do. You will have to just once for all you enable e-invoicing means automatically this IR and e-way bill generation, everything will happen in a matter of seconds. Okay, I will just show you how it happens immediately now. So you can also experience like what is the benefit of our GoFrugal ERP for this e-invoicing solution. Okay. Any doubts up to this? I'll just give the experience, start the experience session right now. Any doubts? Can just quickly review. Any doubts, dear members? Okay, we'll start off. Please pay attention to this part because this is the all important section where I will show you how we are going to handle the e-invoice generation in our GoFrugal software. Okay. Now, as I said, this is a Manage EC is our distribution solution software. So in this, I'm just going to give enter a sales bill. You will see nothing. I'll just enable the e-invoicing configuration in the system. Now, once I have done, I'm just going to make a sales bill. I'm selecting the customer, selecting the product. The same process which we have been doing similar to a POS bill. We'll have to do it. Okay. Nothing other than that. After this, I'm just going to generate the sales bill. Okay, I'm going to preview this bill copy. You can see this is the two things, IRN number and the QR code. These two things must be included in your print profile. So automatically the e-invoice process is completed. All the steps I have been explaining, everything is taken care by the software. Only thing is that this IRN and QR code, it is to be included in the e-invoice. It is data is uploaded to the IRP portal and then it is generated and it is mentioned in this invoice copy, the QR code and this IRN. Okay. Now, actually in this e-invoice, the mandatory the government is giving like you must be having like document type, document number, document date, suppliers GST number, name, PIN code and all. Similarly, buyers information, then item information like HSN code, quantity, then the values. the assessable value, total taxable value, GST amount. And finally, as I said, this IRN number and QR code. IRN number is 64-digit unique number plus this QR code. These two things must be mandatorily present in the invoice copy. Then it becomes a e-invoice, now becomes a e-invoice. Okay. Within just a blink of eye, you can see that this IRN and QR code is generated. Now to experience this, I will actually do one thing. I'll give you one invoice sample. I'll put it in the Q&A chat. Okay. It's a sample invoice file. You can download this. It will ask for a password. Okay. The invoice file to download, it will ask for a password. The password is GFT at 123. You have to download this PDF file, and then you can see this copy, this print preview PDF. Now it will be available in that link. Okay, can you try that? You have to open this PDF file and enter the password. Anybody experienced it? Can you download it? Can you confirm in the chat now? Can put it in the Q&A chat. Yeah, thank you, Madaseri Ventures. Thank you, Godilai Technologies, Hiran. Okay. Now, after downloading this, you can see whether you have seen that QR code and IRN in that file. So this is how the invoice copy will be there. This actually, you can design your own. So you can position the IRN number, QR code and all wherever you want to using our GoFrugal print design. Okay. So this is the mandatory information. This IRN and QR code is mandatory. Now we have one QR code app actually given by the government. Okay. So if you see QR code verification app, if you search in Google, you will have this link. So using this QR code verification app, we can actually download this and verify whether this QR code is correct. Okay, I'll just put that link also in the chat. You have to, once you log into that QR code verification app link, it will ask for your mobile number and OTP. Then you will have to, it will generate one APK file. Okay. In that APK file, you will have to install from your mobile. You'll have to, anybody tried this, whether you are able to access this QR code app, you will have to download that in your mobile, QR code verification app. It will not be available in the Play Store. Okay, it is a government specified app, the GST department given app. So you will not be able to get that in the Play Store at all. Okay, you'll have to search, either you can put it using the link or you can just search as a QR code verification app in the Google, any software browser you use, you can search it now. Then you will get this app link. Okay, that you have to download it in your mobile. Anybody tried that? Can you confirm? Once you have downloaded, put it in the chat box that you have downloaded this app. Members, any confirmation, please? Anyone who have downloaded this app? AK Foods, Ruby Foods and all, can you confirm? Actually, in that app, if you once you download it, you will come to this screen. Okay. E-invoice verification, one screen will be there. In that, there will be two options: verify QR code, verify signed invoice. Two options will be available in that app once you open that app. It's not downloadable. You are downloading in from your mobile only, no? You'll have to experience it from your mobile. This app, it's a... So it will, whether your mobile is Android or iOS, it will, so you'll have to choose accordingly. Yeah, in this itself, it will be there. In the queue, in the link I have given, no, it is, there are two options, Android, iOS. You can select whichever app you want according to your mobile. So I'll put that link again for your benefit. You can, it's also available in the Google. Okay. Now in that option, you will have option called as verify QR code. Okay. In the mobile app, you open this verify QR code, and then in the laptop, I would have given that PDF copy, no? That PDF you open in your laptop and then try to scan this. Okay. When you scan this, when you click that verify QR code, your camera will be open. You can scan this QR code on screen. Okay. In the PDF copy, what you have downloaded, you can open that PDF. This QR code will be there. Once you scan now, this information will be displayed. That is the supplier GST number, the buyer GST number, what is the bill number, what is the date, what is the total value, what is the IRN number, when it was generated. All this information will be displayed. Okay. Even if e-invoicing is not applicable to you, your seller might be e-invoice applicable. So in his invoices, already he might be including this QR code, means you can scan that QR code using this app now itself. Okay. Even though e-invoice may not be applicable for you, you can use this app for scanning your seller invoices. Anybody scanned and tried that? There will be one option called verify QR code. Okay. Verify QR code. When you click now, you can scan that QR code. Then this information will be displayed. The GST number, everything will be displayed. Not working in iOS. Probably you can check it in your, because it's a government given app only. We are not giving on that. So we can check it with the GST portal. Okay. So at the end, it will be mentioned like it is a digitally signed ERP. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mowgli Retail. Any others who have tried? All you have to do is you'll have to download this app, scan the QR code. You can see this information, the GST number, the invoice number, IRN number, everything will be available in the QR code. Yeah, thank you, Madaseri Ventures. Any others? Thank you. Others, can you confirm in the chat box whether you have experienced this QR code verification? Yeah, thank you. Now, this is for a successful process. Okay. Now, if all the information you entered is successfully generated, means this, as I told you, no, it's just a blink of eye, just within a fraction of second. When you print itself, this IRN and QR code, you don't have to wait for something at all. If it is successfully generated, means automatically this e-invoice and this IRN and QR code will be successfully generated and included in the print profile. But you might be having some failure cases also. If your data is not correct, then, for example, suppose you have given your buyer GST number wrongly, or you have given correctly only, but he has not filed his GST number, GST returns and all correctly, means then his GST will be going to the invalid status, inactive status. So that time and all means the IRP portal, when you upload that invoice entry, it will show that this GST number is invalid, GST is inactive, like that it will show. Similarly, there are different kind of validations. So first I told you about this GST number. Second thing is on the HSN code. If you have given wrong HSN code means, then that also it will show. And similarly, the number of digits also. Depending upon your turnover, you will have to report either 4 digits, 6 digits, or 8 digits HSN code. That you are not reflecting correctly means if you have given less number of HSN code, the IRP portal will be giving error. Or if you are the wrong HSN code, any digits you have reduced, or you are giving some 9 digits, 10 digits, incorrect HSN code, all these things system will be validating. Next, the address validation, whether all address information is there, PIN code and state. Suppose your customer is in a Tamil Nadu state, okay, but in PIN code you have mentioned Andhra PIN code means, then it will say that this PIN code does not corresponding to the state you have mentioned, like that it will show error. Similarly, CGST, SGST, IGST. So if it is an interstate transaction, then you should have correctly applied IGST. If it is a local means, the within the state means, then CGST, SGST must be applied. If you have made any mistake in that means, this error will be generated. Next, tax rate mismatch. According to the HSN code, the rate will be there like 5%, 12%, 18%. If you have wrongly done like that, that kind of errors will be there. Invoice number, as I told already, the existing invoice number system will not apply, will not accept. So if you again reuse the same invoice number means, system will say that this invoice number is already exists, duplicate invoice number. Now all these kind of validations, this IRP portal will be throwing errors. Now to handle that, we actually have a tax filing application. Okay, in our software we have this called a tax filing application. So in our tax filing application, we have this e-invoice tab. When you click that, there are 3 different tabs there: pending, failed, completed. In completed, all the IRN generated will be available. Here that invoice number, invoice date, IRN number and all will be mentioned. What is the item information? And any errors, now I told no, any HSN code error, GST error, that and all will be mentioned in this pending and failed tab. Okay, if you click on the errors, it will show that PIN code is wrong, GST number is wrong, HSN code is wrong. Like that kind of errors will be mentioned in the pending and failed. Okay, pending means GoFrugal TFA portal itself, it will find error means like missing information is there means, those kind of validations will be mentioned in the pending. In the failed tab, okay, it's like for example GST number active, inactive, GST number invalid. GST number not mentioned means it will be available in the pending tab. If GST number is invalid or inactive and all means, the government portal will return the error message. That will be available in the failed tab. So if it is available in this pending and failed means, what you will have to do, you will have to rectify in your your billing software. You will have to either retail EC or service EC or manage EC. There we will have to rectify. For example, if it is a address level issue means, then you will have to rectify it in the customer master, like address correction, PIN code correction, GST number correction. All these things you will have to do it in the customer master. Suppose if it is a HSN code issue means, then you will have to rectify it in the item master. Like that, once you rectify the error and then come to the same screen, then you will have this option called, you can enable this checkbox and then click generate IRN, and you will have the option called push to IRP. Okay. Once you successfully clear the error means, then only this will be enabled. So then you can push to IRP, like that util option. So then it will come to the completed tab. Once the IRN is successfully generated means, all the successful generated IRN will be mentioned in this TFA tab. Also in our application also we can generate the report. We have this e-invoice report will be there. In that also we can generate a total list of what are all the IRNs which is successfully generated. It will be available in our accounts EC application. Okay, let me also show that. So here you have the e-invoicing report, e-invoicing status one report will be there. If you click in that report now, here it will all mention like what is the invoice number, invoice date. Here actually we can include the columns also. What are all the columns you want? Okay. So you will have this invoice reference number option will be there. So once you enable that, whichever columns you want, you can hide or disable like that. Here you can generate that what are the invoice number, what is the IRN generated for that invoice. So all these information you can generate as a report also from our accounts EC application. Okay. That's it about this e-invoicing. Any doubts up to this on this e-invoicing? We'll just we'll have to move to the next topic for the day, which is on the audit trail. In e-invoicing, any doubts you have now, you can tell me. You can put it in the Q&A chat. Any doubts you have? If you are clear, also you can put it in whether you're clear in the chat box. Does e-invoice is a downloadable app? E-invoice generation is not app. Only the QR code verification alone is an downloadable app. Okay, e-invoice you will have to generate using our software only, our POS software only, whichever it is, Retail EC, Serve EC, or Manage EC. So in the POS software only, this when you make a bill, this e-invoice generation will automatically happen. Any doubts? Any other doubts? So that I can move to the next concept for the day. On this audit trail, I will be explaining. In e-invoicing, any doubts now? You can ask me now. You can also confirm once you are clear now. You can put clear in the chat so that we can move. A few confirmations will help the engagement session. Yeah, thank you, Ruby Foods. Okay. Yeah, we'll move to the next concept on this audit trail. Okay. Now, what is audit trail? And what is the new requirement for this audit trail? Okay. Actually, basically, this audit trail means is nothing but a log. Okay. What a normally auditor does, he's actually auditing the previous transactions, whatever has happened. Okay. So when an auditor does that, all the information must be available in the software, the audit trails. So when the software is created, a particular entry is created, who created, what time, date and time is created, and any corrections, whether anything is made now, when it was modified, what was the original value, what is the new value, what is the corrections made. If any transactions is deleted, means those kind of logs. So all these logs are all put together called as the audit trail. Okay. Now, what is the requirement by MCA, that is Ministry of Company Affairs, is for all corporates, they must compulsorily use the accounting software which is having this audit trail feature. Without audit trail, the software, you should not use a software using audit trail from 1st April 2022. Okay. So it should contain the software, the government itself specifies that it should contain all the creation and edit log, and the software should not give option to disable the audit trail. Like you, even in admin level or any backend, anything, there should not be any option to disable the audit trail. Okay, the audit trail must be compulsorily present. Okay, this is the requirement by MCA, Ministry of Company Affairs, for all the corporates, that is private limited or public limited. All the companies must follow this software which is having the audit trail. Okay, so this is the requirement by government. Now, as far as GoFrugal is concerned, we don't have to implement anything new. Right from 2004, when GoFrugal was started, we already have this audit trail feature, so you need not worry on that. So we are GoFrugal software is already compliant on accounts this audit trail feature. But in addition to this audit trail, okay, audit trail is something, a report of what has happened. But to prevent, why this audit trail is created is to identify any mistakes. No, so to identify the mistakes, actually GoFrugal has some more features which will actually enable to avoid this frauds and all. Okay, so by that, what is having, like, we are having approval mechanisms, we are having screen wise restrictions. Okay, this particular screen, this particular user must only access, and we also have password mechanisms for specific screens. Like this particular reports, only with the password, it must, other than your login password, you can specify screen specific passwords also. So, and voucher approval screens are there, like one person making an entry, another person making the approval. So all these features are already there, which acts as a preventive mechanism for all these frauds and errors. Next, we also have the notifications through our What's Now. So whenever a bill editing is happening, whenever a bill cancellation is happening now, that will give notifications to the owner to What's Now and Accounts CC apps and all. Then all these reports, this audit trail reports and all, need not be available on in your POS application. You can actually log into the GoAct application, which is just a browser we can access from anywhere, anytime, either from your mobile or your laptop or tablet, whichever system you want. You can just access this GoAct Smart Reports to access these reports. So you need not ask someone to get these reports. As a owner, you need not depend on someone. You can just access it on your own, just from your mobile or system, without having the dependency of the application. Okay. And as I said, we are very much compliant on this audit trail right from 2004 itself. Okay. We need not have to newly implemented in our software. So that is on the security requirement. I'll come back. So let me first showcase this audit trail feature. Okay. In our reports, we have this audit viewer report. Okay. In this audit trail, you can see what are all the bills made, what are all the configuration changes, who has done username, what is the transaction type, what is the date and time. All these information is available in the POS level reports. Okay. We have this reports, audit viewer report. This is actually in the Manage EC application, the distributor solution. We have all these reports in our other solutions also, retail solution, as well as in the restaurant solutions also. So this logs will be there. Similarly, in our Accounts CC application also, we have the reports for the accounting related transactions. So where we have help, tools, audit viewer. In this, we have different kinds of reports. First is the master and transaction audit log report. Okay. In the master and audit log report, it will show like what are all the transactions you have made, what are all the master changes you have made, everything with the date, time, what is the type of transaction, whether it is a POS entry related or accounting entry related. So all the information will be available in the master and transaction. Then specifically, we have a report for the modified transactions. You made some bill. After that, you made some corrections, means that modified transactions alone will be available in the modified transaction report. So it will show like what is the date when it was modified, what is the original date and time. So all this information will be available in the modified transactions. Any corrections you make now, that will be available in the modified transaction. Similarly, deleted transaction. Okay, that is a separate report. You made one entry. After that, you deleted that bill, or you made some payment or receipt. After that, you deleted. Like that means this deleted transactions alone will be there as a separate report. Again, we have reports for configuration changes, approval changes, approval history, credit limit. We can also set the credit limit request and credit limit approvals. Like this, all kinds of logs we have, which will have serve the audit trail requirement. So complete your anything which you do in the ERP, in our ERP, whether it is in the POS or accounts, it will have a complete log of what are all the date modification, who done, what is the config change, what is the previous value, what is the after value, everything you will have the reports in our system. Okay, so that is the advantage of Gofrugal. Any doubts in this? I'm using Tally ERP. By registering the details, we can get E-invoice. You can switch to Gofrugal. Okay, so you can very much use our solution. Okay. So you need not depend on your Tally for accounting. You can very much use our Accounts EC for both POS and accounting. Your Gofrugal ERP will be a complete solution right from your billing till your financial statements. Okay, your P&L, balance sheet, trial balance, everything we can generate from our application itself. Okay, once sales bill will generated for B2B, then automatically E-invoice will upload. Yes, right. If it is a B2B transaction means, then automatically the E-invoice will be generated. Okay. We have some issue in accounts CC, so we have to Tally for accounts. So how can Gofrugal help this? You can raise what is the concerns, Mowgli Retails. You can mention what are all the concerns you have in accounts CC. My email is actually available in the webinar. You can mention what are all the queries, so we can address it. Okay. So you need not actually depend on Tally for your accounting. Our Accounts Easy solution has all the capabilities of Tally. Okay, right from your billing, collections, payments, bank reconciliation, all the reports, everything is available in our Accounts Easy. We definitely want to take it. We want to use Accounts Easy, but due to some limitation, lack of knowledge about Accounts Easy, we are using Tally for accounts. Yeah, you can raise the mail, sir. So we can understand what is we can help you how we can use Accounts Easy to the fullest extent for you. Depreciation on HR module not there, no, in Accounts Easy. HR module we have. Depreciation you'll have to do it as a manual entry only. Okay, for depreciation we don't have any automated solution right now. We have turnover above 50 crores and software don't have TCS reports. Tally have these reports. We have, sir, TCS reports also is available in our solution. Okay, so it is very much available. Any reference if you want have any reports specific now, we can take it also if it is not available. Okay. Yeah, that is also available. Automatic TDS deduction and expense booking also it's available. When you we have the if you go in you go Frugal help videos, we have this features like how to configure TDS and how the TDS reports, everything is available in our Accounts Easy. You can refer our help videos for the TDS deduction. Okay. Data shifting will not be possible from Tally. We'll have to take a cutoff date. Say, for example, 1st April 2022, we'll have to migrate all your opening balances. And from that particular date, we'll have to start using our GoFrugal. Okay. So data migration will not be possible, but we can do the opening balance migration. Particular cutoff date, we can start the opening balance. And from then on, we can use the transaction. Depreciation, I said automation only is not possible. Definitely you can do journal entry. Okay. So depreciation debit your furniture or computer, the journal entry you can pass in our Accounts Easy. So automatically your P&L will take care of the depreciation. I said depreciation automation alone. For example, a fixed asset module is not available, but we can definitely pass manual entries for the depreciation. Okay. So that is very much available so that your P&L will be complete. You need not depend on any other application for your profitability, your complete profitability, P&L, balance sheet, trial balance, everything we can take it from our software itself. Yes, sir, sure. We'll definitely check. You can also forward that mail what is you have sent, your requirements. I'll check with the concerned team and revert to you. You can forward it to my email. Okay. Any other queries, team? I'll just initiate a quick poll on this E-invoicing and Audit Trail and GoFrugal solutions, whether you are interested to take up now. If you are already not if you are already not using GoFrugal, and you can mention whether you are interested in this poll. Yeah, just the poll is on the screen. You can confirm whether you are interested in taking up GoFrugal solutions. Where I can find TDS deduction, it is you have LPDO, sir, in our YouTube channel. In GoFrugal YouTube channel, you can search it. So you can see how to make TDS entry in GoFrugal, how to create all these ledgers. So these help videos, you can refer it. Probably I'll put this in the chat also. Also, you can always refer our YouTube channel for this, for the help videos and all the stuff. Already using GoFrugal. Thank you, sir. Okay, I hope you are using full-fledged GoFrugal solutions and Accounts Easy also. If you have any other queries, you can please let me know, dear customers. Any other queries? I hope everyone found this session interesting, and it's a good learning session. I also initiated a quick rating on the session, so please do vote on the rating also. So everything will be available in this in our YouTube channel, sir. You can try that definitely. You can search. You can open our YouTube channel and search for whatever requirement you want. It will be available. So e-waybill, so how to generate e-waybill generation regarding whichever product you have, whether it's retail EC or manage EC, it will be available. So you can try that. Everything is available in all the LPDs is available. Okay, I'll put it in the chat also for your benefit. I'll put my email ID in the chat so you can reach me for your queries. Okay. Any other doubts, team? So you can, any other requirements or queries also you can put in the, our live chat is also available for your 24/7 support. Specifically on accounts EC, if you have any challenges means you can raise it to my email also. Okay. Okay. Thank you, customers. If you have any queries now, please let me know. Else we can wind up for the session. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good day. Have a nice day.